am Stefan Kießling from Leipzig, Germany. As organist, I travel around the world, giving recitals and masterclasses. And today I will take you with me for a visit to a very special city named Waltershausen. Roughly 300 kilometers in southeast of Berlin, in the state of Thuringia, near the Thuringian forest, you will find Waltershausen. The history of Waltershausen goes back to more than 800 years. One of the oldest houses is almost 600 years old. Here you can see the famous city hall of Waltershausen. Also still existing today is the Klaustor. It was erected in 1474. Here we are at the central plaza. The most impressive building here is, of course, the Stadtkirche, city church. The first known church on location was built in 1326. Its tower was erected 130 years later, and the lower part of the tower still exists today. In 1720 they started to build the new church that we can see today. The inner floor plan has an elliptical shape. The outer one has the shape of a Greek cross with short arms. Extensive restoration work took place in 1995. Since then we can once again see the beautiful historic paintings from the 18th century. Take a look at the galleries and the fresco on the ceiling. Court painter Johann Heinrich Ritter created the illusion of a dome. There are a number of churches where the organ is placed at the side of the altar instead of putting it at the opposite end of the church. This underlines the importance of music and chant in the Protestant tradition. Organ builder Tobias Heinrich Gottfried Trost started to build it in 1722. Today 70% of the instrument is still original. Trost was asked to build a smaller organ, but after taking a look at the big Silbermann organ at Freiberg, a very famous instrument, he felt inspired to build a much larger instrument. Unfortunately, the work took much longer than expected and created some disputes with the responsible people for the construction of the church. After 8 years of work, Trost left Waltershausen, leaving the organ unfinished. It was then completed 11 years later. It is still the largest Baroque organ in Thuringia today. But let's take a closer look how an organ works. The first thing you see is that the organ has keys like a piano. Each key produces a tone, and these tones are basically the same as on a piano. But that's about everything that the organ has in common with the piano. You may have noticed that the organ has 3 keyboards instead of just 1, and that the range is much smaller than that on the piano. Also, there is a keyboard that has keys that are much bigger. They are meant to be played with the feet. It is called the pedal. The keyboards for the hands are called the manuals. But this is not the main difference in comparison to the piano, because there are organs that just have 1 manual and no pedal. The interesting point is how the sound is produced. A piano has strings that are hit by a hammer. The harder you touch the key, the harder the hammer hits the string, the louder the tone gets. Even if you are holding down the key for a long time, the sound will disappear very quickly. An organ has pipes. Like a flute, the sound is produced by air. We call it the wind. It streams into the tube against an edge where it is periodically deflected outwards and inwards. This vibration happens so quickly that our ears perceive it as a tone. Long pipe create low pitches. Short pipe create high pitches. When you touch a key, you are opening a valve inside the organ. It is connected to the key over a long mechanism, and the valve lets the wind coming from a reservoir into the pipe, and you hear the sound as long as you hold down the key. Unlike the piano, you cannot influence the volume of the tone by pressing it harder. Pipes can be built in various styles. They can be made of different material, they can be slimmer or wider. They can be closed or open at the top end. These and many other details influence their sound and volume. Usually an organ has many different types of pipes for each key. The organist can select and combine the different types to achieve soft or loud sounds. For this, there are special knobs called stops. Each stop is activating a special type of pipes, creating a different sound. Each manual has a different set of stops that allows the organist to play different sound types, different volumes, different sound colors at the same time.